Hello everybody, hope everyone's doing good. In today's session, we'll discuss Module 3 titled Mechanical Safety. So what is mechanical safety or how do you define mechanical safety? You know that nowadays with increase in technology, there is an increase in automation. Likewise, because of increase in automation, there is more requirement for protecting machinery as well as operators, and protecting these two have evolved over the time and have become more and more complex. The improper use of machines, of course, can lead to safety hazards when the correct operating protocols are not followed. Even though if proper operating protocols are being followed, if humans make a mistake, then again it leads to safety hazards. So how we define safety? Safety is the freedom from unexpected risk with respect to machinery operations. So when we say safety, it means that whenever we are operating a machine, we should be free from any type of risk with respect to the particular operation. Now when we say unexpected risk, it means there's a value, there's a range for that type of risk. They say, so we have to first of all establish what is acceptable and what is unacceptable risk. Now, whatever the acceptable risk one industry may provide, it may not be the same for some other industry. So it depends. The risk depends on type of industries. So for that reason, various standards can just provide a guidance on how to determine when acceptable risk have been achieved. Of course, they can be, as shown in the sketch here, whatever the acceptable and unacceptable risks are there, it can be made on, it can be written, the range can be written over a scale. So it can be low, medium or high. So that's what first of all we have to decide what are acceptable and unacceptable risks. So on today's session we discuss a couple of topics. The first topic, what we call it as personal protective equipment, or in short PPE. I think nowadays you will be very familiar with the word PPE. Maybe you must have heard in TV or read in newspapers. PPE is just nowadays doctors are using PPE, that is personal protective equipment, to guard themselves or to safeguard themselves from the coronavirus. Of course, so now what we used in industries are of course very different from what the doctors are being used. As shown in the sketch, these are some of the personal protective equipments that are usually used in mechanical industries. So we'll be discussing in detail regarding these. So what is personal protective equipment or PPE? Personal, as the name itself says, personal protective equipment, it will protect the user against health or safety risk. Of course, risk cannot be completely eliminated in any industries, but we can try to bring down that risk to a certain extent by making use of this personal protective equipments. And personal protective equipments includes items such as safety helmets, gloves, eye protection, shoes, eye exertive clothing, safety footwear, and many other things. What you have seen in the previous sketches. Whatever PPE equipments that are being used, whether it can be clothing or equipment, it should be of safe design and also safe construction, and it should be maintained in a clean and reliable fashion. Employers should take the fit and comfort of PPE into consideration when selecting appropriate item for their workplace. The employer should keep in mind that one PPE doesn't fit all. So because there will be different people, different sizes in working, and one PPE may not fit all. So whoever is wearing the PPE, it should be fit him properly, and also it should be very comfortable to move into it. PPE that fits well and is comfortable to wear will encourage employees to use of PPE. That is common. If you're not comfortable with something, we usually don't use it. So whatever the personal protective equipment the employee are using in the industry, it should fit them well, and they also should feel comfortable in it. And most protective devices are available in multiple sizes, and care should be taken to select the proper size for each employee. as already mentioned, one size will not fit everyone. So according to the person, the PP should be procured or purchased. If several different types of PP are worn together, we should make sure that they're compatible. So a person may not wear one PP during an operation, operating a machine. He may wear about 4 to 5 types of PP. So whatever may be the number of PPs that he is wearing, he should be made compatible in the sense he should be able to move. He should be able to be agile. He should be compact in whatever with what he is wearing. If PP doesn't fit properly, it can make the difference, of course, between being safely covered or dangerously exposed. It may not provide the level of protection desired and may discourage employee use. The employer of any industry should train each employee on who must use PP. Employees must be trained to know at least the following. So they should be knowing who are wearing this PP. The employer should tell the employee these following things. When PP is necessary, it's not like personal protective equipment should be worn each and every time, but they should be made. The employees should be made aware when PP is necessary, what type of PP is necessary, for which operation what PPs they need to know, how to properly put on, take off, adjust and wear the PPE, what are the limitations of PPE. So when we say the limitation of PPE, it means that once you wear PPE, it doesn't mean that you're completely out of danger or there's no risk at all. Of course, risk will always be there. So they should be knowing the limitation of each PPE, personal protective equipment. And of course, they should take proper care, maintenance and useful life and disposal of PPE. So these are the things that an employer should make aware of the employees. So in the next few slides, we'll discuss different types of PPEs that are used to cover the various parts of a human body. Let us start with the first one, eye and face protection. Now, in an industry, employees can be exposed to a large number of hazards, and these hazards pose danger either to eyes or face. And according to OSHA, it says that the employers should ensure that employees have appropriate eye or face protection. If they are exposed to eye or face hazards from it can be either from flying particles, volatile metal, liquid chemicals, acids or caustic liquids, chemical gases or vapors, potentially infected material, or potentially even harmful light radiations. So to protect from all these, the eye and the face has to be protected. Now, selecting the most suitable eye and face protection for employees is very important thing. You cannot just use any PPE. There are certain standards or certain elements that need to be taken care of. So let us see what are those following elements that has to be considered. So the first consideration that we have to consider is ability to protect against specific workplace hazards. So whatever PPE that an employee is using, that should protect him against the specific hazards for whatever he is working on. And it should fit properly and be reasonably comfortable to wear. And it should provide this important thing, he should unrestricted vision and movement. Once he wears a PPE, his vision should not be obstructed. He should have a clear vision, full clarity. And also he should be able to move agilely. And of course it should be durable and it should be cleanable. That means once he uses it, it can be reused again. And it should allow him unrestricted functioning of any other required PPE. So these are the certain elements that should be taken care of. So next we'll see what are different types of personal protective equipment that are used to cover the face and the eye. First, we have the safety spectacles. As seen in the figure, these protective eyeglasses have safety frames and are constructed of metal or plastic. And also, these frames are impact resistant lenses. Sometimes side shields are also available on some models. Now, we should be knowing what's the difference between a spectacle and a goggle. They're entirely different. Spectacles are used to make sure that either to improve the vision or the clarity of the employee, or to make sure that if he's working out in the sun, that he is safe from the glare of the sun. That's the main purpose of using spectacles. Next, safety equipment, PPE, we have goggles. As already discussed, there's a difference between a spectacle and goggles. So goggles, it says that of course the goggles are tight fitting eye protection, and it completely covers the eyes, eye sockets and facial area immediately surrounding the eyes, and it provides a protection from impact, dust and splashes. So the application of spectacles and goggles are entirely different. So we should be knowing when to wear a spectacle and when to wear a goggle for any particular operation. Next, we have the welding shields, and I think many of you have already used, all of you have used the welding shields when doing the welding, doing the welding. And these welding sheets are constructed of vulcanized fiber or fiberglass and fitted with a filtered lens. Welding sheets, of course, we know it protects the eyes from burns, which are caused by infrared or intense radiant light. They also protect both the eyes and face from flying spark, metal spatter, and slag chips produced during welding, brazing, soldering, and cutting operations. Next, PPE, we have laser safety goggles. So of course the goggles we already discussed, but these goggles are used to protect against intense concentration of light, usually produced by lasers. So whoever is working with laser, they'll be using this type of goggles, that is laser safety goggles. So in the next few slides, we'll discuss different types of PPEs that are used to cover the various parts of a human body. Let us start with the first one, eye and face protection. Now, in an industry, employees can be exposed to a large number of hazards, and these hazards pose danger either to eyes or face. And according to OSHA, it says that the employers should ensure that employees have appropriate eye or face protection. If they are exposed to eye or face hazards, from it can be either from flying particles, volatile metal, liquid chemicals, acids or caustic liquids, chemical gases or vapors, potentially infected material, or potentially even harmful light radiations. So to protect from all these, the eye and the face has to be protected. Now, selecting the most, that was regarding eyes and face protection equipment. Next, for the head protection. Protecting the employees from potential head injuries is a key element to any safety program. A head injury, of course, can impair an employee for life, or it can be fatal. Fatal in the sense he may even die if a head injury takes place. Wearing a safety helmet or what we call as a hard hat is one of the easiest way to protect an employee's head from injury. Hard hats, or you can say safety helmet, can protect employees from impact and penetration of hazards, as well as from electric shocks and burn hazards. Employers must ensure that employees wear head protection if any of the following apply. So in an industry, we must notice many a times that the employees will be wearing a hard hat that is usually of yellowish in color, right? So it's not necessary that everyone should wear it. There are certain conditions or certain regions where the hard hat has to be worn. So let us see where that applies. The first is objects may fall from above and strike them on the head. It may so happen that any construction work may be going on, and if someone walks under it, any object may accidentally fall and hit him. So in such condition, employees are required to wear hard hat every time. Or there may be places where they may bump their head or they hit their head against fixed objects, such as exposed pipes or beams or so on. Sometimes the pipes may be lying very low, so we need to bend and walk through. So during such cases, there are chances that the head may bang against such objects. So during such cases, we need a hard hat. And also, there's a possibility of accidental head contact with electrical hazards. There may be some hanging wires, and if you just walk through it, or if we come in contact with such live wires, it may prove very fatal. So even in such cases, hard hats are necessary. So there are different types of hard hats as shown. We have class A hard hat, class B hard hat, class C hard hat, and bump caps. So we must be knowing properly which type of hard hats to be used for what purpose. So if you are using class A hard hats, these are used to protect from falling objects, and it also protects from electrical shocks up to 2200 volts. So that's the capacity of class A hard hat. Coming to class B, it protects from, of course, it again protects from class B, protects from falling objects, and also it provides protection against electrical hazards, and it can produce protect from it can with what we can say is from electrical shock. It can withstand electrical shocks up to 20,000 volts. They also provide protection from impact and also penetration hazards by falling objects. Next, we have the class C hard hats. They are lightweight, and as they are lightweight, they are more comfortable when compared to class A and class B. And but of course, they provide protection from impact. But we should remember, class C hard hats won't provide us protection from electrical hazards. Okay, so wherever electrical hazards are there, and also if any falling objects, or where there are chances that we may bump our head against something, it's always better to use class A and class B. Next to last, we have the bump caps. Just if you want to protect our head just against any bumps, or hitting our head against any overhead hanging pipes or any objects, then bump caps are best. They are made from lightweight plastic, and they're just designed to protect our head from bumping or from protruding objects. So these are the different types of hard hats which protects our head. Next, going for the foot and leg protection. Employees, they're in the industry, employees may they're possible that they'll be injured their foot or leg either from falling or rolling objects, or some object may fall on them and crush their foot, or penetrating, or just walking, when they're walking something may penetrate. So they should always wear some protective footwear. And also employees, when they are exposed to hot substances, or when they are working in an environment where hot substances are there, or corrosive or poisonous materials presence is there, then they must have protective gear to cover the exposed body parts including legs and feet. If an employee's feet are exposed to electrical hazards, non-conductive footwear should be worn. So what we can say that if we are working where the chances of something falling on a foot or a leg, or or any chemical spillage can take place which will harm our foot or leg, or we are exposed to some electrical hazard, it's always better to have foot and leg protection. So next we'll see different types of foot and leg protection choices, or what are different choices we can go for. The first, we call it as the leggings. As can be seen in the sketch, these leggings protect the lower legs and feet from heat hazards such as molten metal or welding sparks. Safety, of course, some leggings may have safety snaps, which allow we can it's just like putting on pads while in cricket. We have pads, right? They have snaps. So the purpose of using snaps is that they can be removed quickly, right? Or sometimes snaps will not be available, so we have to just they are just pulled over and put over the foot and the leg. So this was regarding leg. Next, we have the metatarsal guards. As can be clearly seen in the sketch, this protects the foot, top of the foot from impacts when someone steps on it or when something falls on the foot or because of compression. These are usually made up of aluminium, steel, fiber or plastic, and these guards may be strapped to the outside of screws. Usually they are available in separate pieces, so whenever a worker is working in such as hazardous environment where there are chances that something may fall on his foot or his foot may get compressed, then they can just use this metatarsal guards. They can just put it on their shoes and continue working. Next, toe guards. As the name itself says, the main purpose of using toe guards is to safeguard the toes of the workers. And these also available in separate pieces, and they can just fit over the toes of regular shoes to protect the toes from impact and compression hazards. And the materials that can be used for toe guards may include steel, aluminum or plastic. Next, next is a combination of foot and shin guards. So earlier slides we are saying how to protect the toes by using all those things, but sometimes we may need a combination of both. So we need to protect the foot as well as the shin. So for that purpose, we have the combination shin guards, okay, and it protects the lower legs and feet, and may be used in combination with toe guards when greater protection is needed. As clearly can be seen in the sketch, this is how it's being used. Next, okay, safety shoes. See, we should not consider the regular shoes that we wear with the safety shoes. Safety shoes are somewhat different from the regular shoes that are available. So safety shoes have high impact resistant toes and heat resistant soles that protect the feet against hot work surface, which are usually common in roofing, paving or hot metal industries. And the metal insoles of some safety shoes protects against puncture wounds so that nothing can penetrate from below. Safety shoes may also be designed to be electrically conductive to prevent the buildup of static electricity. Okay, where we are working with potential for explosive atmosphere or in non-conductive to protect the employees from workplace electrical hazards. So this was regarding safety shoes. Next, we have the electrical hazard safety toe shoes. So electrical hazard safety toe shoes are these, of course, these are used to wear when workers are employing in an electrical hazard environment. So these are usually made up of shoes are made of non-conductive and will prevent the various weight from completing electrical circuit to the ground. These shoes can protect against open circuit up to 600 volts in dry conditions. Now care should be taken of the maintenance of these shoes. If the shoes we should make sure that the shoes should not become wet and the soles should not be worn out and the metal particles should not be embedded in the sole or the heel. Okay, or employ ground item. So these are the things maintenance things that should be taken care of electrical hazard safety toe shoes. So this was regarding protecting the foot and the toe. So next, safety equipment PPE, we have goggles. As already discussed, there's a difference between a spectacle and goggles. So goggles, it says that of course the goggles are tight fitting eye protection and it completely covers the eyes, eye sockets and facial area immediately surrounding the eyes, and it provides a protection from impact, dust and splashes. So the application of spectacles and goggles are entirely different. So we should be knowing when to wear a spectacle and when to wear a goggle for any particular operation. So we'll just see what are different types of PPE that are used to protect the hands. First, we have the leather or canvas or metal mesh gloves. So there are different types: leather, canvas or metal. Of course, this as can be seen in the sketch. These are usually used where if we have the gloves, they can be made up of metal mesh or leather or canvas, and the main purpose of wearing these gloves is to protect against cuts or burns. And if you're using leather or canvas gloves, they also protect against susceptible heat. Next, we have the fabric gloves, and it protects against dirt, slivers, chafings, and abrasions. So when compared to the leather, canvas, or metal mesh gloves, here the protection provided by these fabric gloves is little bit less. They are just used to protect us against dirt, slivers, flapping, or abrasions. But uh, these are more fabric gloves. The comfort level is more. Here the gripping is better when compared to the leather, canvas, or metal mesh gloves. And of course, and we should whenever we are using fabric gloves, we should be knowing that they won't provide sufficient protection for use with rough, heavy materials. So, but here, if we are able to add some plastic coating, this will strengthen the fabric. Next, we have the chemical and liquid resistant gloves. As the name itself says, this type of gloves are made from different kinds of rubber. It can be either natural, butyl, neoprene, nitrine, or fluorocarbon, and various kinds of plastics, polyvinyl chloride, or what we call as PVC, polyvinyl alcohol, or polythene. And they are usually used, these chemical liquid resistant gloves, when the employees are exposed to environment where they handle chemicals, or where there are chances that these chemicals, if exposed to our body, it will cause harm. In such cases, these chemical and liquid resistant gloves are used. Next, to protect our body. So sometimes it may so happen that the employees may face possible body injury of any kind that cannot be eliminated through engineering or work practice or industry control. So in such cases, they should wear appropriate body protection while performing their jobs. Now, there are certain few examples that could cause bodily injury. Either it can be because of temperature extremes, hot, or if a worker is working in a uh, foundry shop, there may be hot splashes from molten metals and the hot liquids, and there are potential impacts from tools, machinery, materials, or when they are working hazardous chemicals. So during such cases, they need body protections. So protective clothings. They come in variety of materials and each effective against particular hazards. So here in this particular slide, we will discuss different types of clothing materials that will provide a body protection. So the clothing can be paper-like fibers. These are disposable suits and they provide protection against dust and splashes. The clothing material can be treated wool and cotton. Here, as it is made up of cotton, it is more comfortable and it adapts well to changing workplace temperature and is also fire resistant. It protects against dust, abrasions, and rough irritating surfaces. Next clothing material, we have the duct type. These are somewhat more thicker when compared to treated wool and cotton, and these are usually made up of closely woven cotton fabric and it protects against cuts and bruises. Next type of clothing material, leather. Leather protective clothing are often used against dry heat and flame. And the last type of clothing material, we have rubberized fabrics, neoprene and plastics. And these are usually used when a worker is working in some when a worker can be exposed against acids and certain chemicals. So these are the clothing materials that can be used to protect our body. Next, protection for ears. We call it as the hearing protections. Now, determining uh, to the need is very determining the need to provide hearing protection for employees can be very challenging. The reason being, sometimes it may so happen that a worker may be exposed to the noise depends on a number of factors. These factors may include the loudness of the noise, or it may be duration of employees' exposure to the noise. It may so happen that the worker may be just exposed to a few minutes or a few seconds during a particular period of time, and then he may not be exposed to the noise. And also, if the workers may be moving from place to place, if he moves from one at a particular place, the noise decimals will be more. But after some time, he may move to some other workstation where the noise decibels will be less. So during such conditions, it's very difficult to determine whether the worker should be wearing a hearing protection or not. That's the challenging part of using hearing protection. So these are next we discuss some of the hearing protections that are usually used in industries. The first one we have the single-use earplugs, and these are made up of waxed cotton or can be made up of foam, silicone, rubber, or fiberglass wood. They are self-forming. Self-forming in the sense when we use these earplugs, just fits to the earlobe, fits to anyone can wear it, and when they are properly inserted, they work as well as similar to that of molded earplugs. So this is regarding the molded earplugs we'll be discussing the next slide. So this is the single-use earplugs. Now next is the preformed or molded earplugs. Now these are customized. This type of earplugs are customized to individual, and is usually fitted by professionals and can be disposable or reusable. And if they are reusable, they should be cleaned after each use. So this was regarding molded earplugs. Next, going for the foot and leg protection. Employees that are in the industry, employees may possible that they'll be injured their foot or leg either from falling or rolling objects, or some object may fall on them and crush their foot, or penetrating, or just walking when they're walking something may penetrate. So they should always wear some protective footwear. And also employees when they are exposed. So the next topic will be discussing regarding safety guards. Now we know that machines, all rotating and moving parts of a machine should be guarded. Sometimes it may not be possible. Guards should not be removed when the machine is on. That's the important thing. And guards removed for maintenance should be replaced as soon as possible. The main purpose of safety guards is to make sure that when the machine is in running, accidentally someone should not touch those running or moving parts. If that happens, then it results in injuries which may be sometimes may be very fatal. So the main purpose of safety guards is to make sure that these rotating or moving parts are properly covered, even or maybe during operation or even after operations. So on today's session, we discuss a couple of topics. The first topic, what we call it as personal protective equipment, or in short PPE. I think nowadays you will be very familiar with the word PPE. Maybe you must have heard in TV or read in newspapers. PPE is just nowadays doctors are using PPE, that is personal protective equipment, to guard themselves or to safeguard themselves from the coronavirus. Of course, so now what we used in industries are of course very different from what the doctors are being used. As shown in the sketch, these are some of the personal protective equipment that are usually used in mechanical industries. So we'll be discussing in detail regarding these. So in the next few slides, we'll discuss different types of PPEs that are used to cover the various parts of a human body. Let us start with the first one, eye and face protection. or which may have reciprocating motion, as can be seen in the sketch. Sometimes it may hit the worker, so for this also safety guards are made. Or even for a transversing motion, it may be a belt moving on a pulley. So even such cases, safety guard has to be provided, because if by accidentally we touch the belt when it is rotating, we may just get our shirt or hair may get pulled into it. Next, even safety guards need to provide it during cutting action. Even during bending of action, it is very important. So here accidents usually take place when the stock, or we can say raw material, is fed into the machine manually when we hold it, and when the punch comes down, and when the punch moves, or when we remove or insert the raw material, it will prove hazardous. Even for shearing action, we need safety guards. In-running nip points. So when we say in-running nip points, it means the point of contact. You can see in the sketches, maybe between the pulley and the belt, the type of contact usually have a line contact. That point is called as nip contact. Accidentally, our shirt or by accidentally our hand touches those points, we just get pulled into it. So all the nip points has to be provided with safety guards. So let us next discuss what are different types of guards or different types of safety guards that can be used. So there are four types. The safety guards can be fixed, interlocked, adjustable, or it can be self-adjusting. So coming to the fixed type of safety guards, the advantage it gives is that it gives the maximum protection, and it can be used for variety of applications, and it can be in-house fabricated. So this type of guards can be actually fabricated in-house itself. They need not be purchased from outside. And finally, it is low cost and maintenance. But there are certain disadvantages. It is poor visibility is there because almost fully covered. And whenever there is a repair, it should be removed. The whole part, the whole guard has to be removed. So removing and fixing takes time. That was regarding fixed guarding action. Even during bending of action, it is very important. So here accidents usually take place when the stock, or we can say raw material, is fed into the machine manually when we hold it, and when the punch comes down, and when the punch moves, or when we remove or insert the raw material, it will prove hazardous. That was regarding eyes and face protection equipment. Next, for the head protection. Protecting the employees from potential head injuries is a key element to any safety program. A head injury, of course, can impair an employee for life, or it can be fatal. Fatal in the sense he may even die if a head injury takes place. Wearing a safety helmet or what we call as a hard hat is one of the easiest way to protect an employee's head from injury. Hard hats, or you can say safety helmet, can protect employees from impact. And so I hope everyone has just understood the two topics that we discussed today regarding personal protective equipment and safety guards. The notes of the same has been already been shared with you. So just go through the notes and also through this presentation. And if any doubts, do ask and let me know. Thank you.